Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Crochet Lovers Crochet Podcast, episode number 68. I have a lot to show you guys today, so I hope you guys are ready and excited as I am. I know last episode was kind of, I was very drained and school was really just getting at me, and I'm now on spring break. It's ending this week, of course, but I got my crochet energy back, and I've just been going crazy, and I have 30 things to show you. So I'm going to start with the most exciting things first and then go on from there, but just a little sneak peek. This is 27 of them. I went on a trip at the beginning of spring break, and these are my makes that I made, so I'll go into these at the end of the podcast because they're not as exciting, but they are majority dishcloth things. But yeah, so the first things I'm gonna show you, I'm beyond excited about. I don't think I've ever shared them on the podcast before. I started them in 2021, and I wasn't podcasting at this time. This was in my yearly break. Excuse me. So, it's the Better Together Afghan by the Crochet Crowd. And if you guys haven't seen this blanket before, it's so beautiful. I mean, I think I like this more than the Study of the Planet Earth, which is the one that's usually in the back of my chair. It's just hiding behind some clothes right now. I love it. It's a square, and you choose 4 colors, and then Mikey from the Crochet Crowd tells you the repeats that you do. I don't know, I'm just enamored with it. I love it. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but long story short, I made 2 of them, and one of them's for me, and the other one is for my friend. So, friend, if you're watching, stop. I don't think you are watching, but if you are, stop. I don't want you to see it. Because she knows that she's getting it, she just doesn't know what it looks like. But yeah, I'll show mine first, and we will go from there. So, I believe there's like 4 or 5 different weeks. Weeks as in it's the crochet along, and it's throughout the summer. I'm not gonna go into too much detail. He does this every year, basically. So with that, I was trying to thought. Oh, for my blanket, I have like a couple more rows on the second to last video or week, and then on my friend's blanket, I'm on the last week. Because what ended up happening, I'll show you in a second. One day I did her blanket first, and then I was already ahead with it. That's why I'm ahead. I'll get back and show you. I apologize now. You're not going to be able to see everything in detail when I hold it up. However, I will add pictures. So, with that being said, let me get out of this bag that I sewed back when I was in middle school, and we will go from there. So my blanket is made with mint, white, charcoal, and this pink color, and this pink is Peony Pink from Bernat Super Value. And I think the mint's actually called Minty. Yeah, so chair is in the way. Are you ready? Gotta figure out which is the right side. Gotta go under that. Okay. There it is, and then here's the detail up top. So yeah. I just love this blanket so much. I'm just so done. I'm so close to being done with it. And these 2 blankets were my goals for this year. I wanted to be able to finish them, or at least work on them. Um, so I guess in some aspects you can say that I've checked that part off. And while I'm still on break, I want to be able to finish them because it's not going to take me very long. I just have to sit down and do it. And my other blanket is sitting in here. Now this is my friend's blanket, so again, friend, if you're watching, stop, please. But the colors in this one, black, white, a light gray from Bernat Super Value, and this army green color. The army green is the colorway medium thyme, and the gray is the colorway true gray. So here is this blanket. So it's the same thing. I'm just a little bit more ahead on this one. But here it is. And then I'll show you the detail on this. So I'm just doing the Catherine wheel stitches, I think they're called. Then over here you can even see I started filling them in. Those are my 2 blankets, and sorry, my chair. I wanted to show you guys those for such a long time, but I haven't been working on them, so I had no reason to bring them out. So that's exciting. But yeah, so time for the next exciting thing. I actually have a video that I've been working on about this, and it's like a, hey, I made this, here's how I did it type thing. I don't actually have the video, the tutorial that I used on my mind, but I'll leave it in the description box. It was a YouTube video about how to make a bra cup size, so you're probably like, what? So it's a top. It was a custom order, and I have the straps attached to it. This side's longer. I need to make this side longer as well. It's not finished yet. I'll show you it more in a second. Because with that, I have, so this is again in order. So it's been hard for me to get the exact measurements, because even though she told me, hey, these are my measurements, crochet stretches, it's not going to lay exactly as you want it to, so you kind of have to play along with that. So that's been difficult in the sense that in the past 3 days, that's when I started it, I had to redo the waistband 2 times already, maybe even 3, because I think I knocked it down 10 inches. But I feel like a part of that was just wrong measurements at the beginning also, but yeah, enough with that. So here it is. So she told me pastel, purple, pink, green, and blue. And the purple actually is a pastel. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that or not. But yeah, and then here's the back of it. It's going to be that open in the back. So I have like I said, a whole video that I'm just talking all about this blanket. Top, not a blanket. So if you're like, oh, I wonder like how she did that or why she made that color choice or like whatever the case is, there's that. But for the first time, I'm just gonna talk a little bit about this. I unraveled everything as in the waistband. Because what I did was I did a foundation chain, and so I needed to go all the way down from there since I was starting and making it smaller. We tried it on yesterday, and I cut, sorry, this is gonna be long because I was playing with it. I think I cut back like this much of it. And yeah, I cut it. That was hard, but I was a lot easier and a safer choice than just unraveling everything, especially for time. And quite frankly, I didn't want to do all of that over again. But so it's not the best, and I am gonna play around with it more and make it look nicer. But I cut and I sewed it back up, so like it's not the prettiest. But I mean, this is the other side too. So I'll leave it up to the recipient to see what side she likes better. So I'll clean both of them up, and I was gonna add like my tag to it and everything, but because of that, I'm not gonna do that. And when I was sewing the cuffs in for that extras, I did like there's a purple right here, just like I was a little messy with it by accident. So I'm just gonna clean that up as well. But yeah, the colors that I chose. This is a light blue in the colorway light blue probably from this is a line brand 1 pound. And the other ones are in this bag that I made. Eat, sleep, crochet, repeat. I did that with the Cricut. But not super value mint. Then there's Impeccables lavender. And then the last one, I believe is discontinued. As you can tell, it's fairly aged. Red Heart jewel tones in the colorway Pink Ice. And in case you've never seen jewel tones before, I don't think you're going to be able to see. There's like a little sparkle to it. And it's nice and pretty. But yeah, so that's been my project for the past couple days. So I'm hoping to get that finished today. And I know honestly you're probably not going to see it by next podcast because I want to give it to her as soon as possible. But I'm going to get pictures before I give it to her. Hi everyone, happy St. Patty's Day. This is either future or past Amelia, depending on which podcast I end up putting this in. The tank top is finished, so I wanted to share this with you because by the time I record the next podcast, I'm not gonna have it anymore, and yeah, so I just wanted to share with you guys the finished product of it. So I do have the full video all regards to this tank top in the works of being edited right now, so look forward to that if you just like are interested how I make this and everything. But here's what it looks like. So what I ended up doing was I took the purple row because the cup just ended up being a little bit too big overall, and then I added a little side piece right here, and I did that on both sides. And then the straps are now 15 inches, and then the back is open. So that's what I ended up doing. And then last night after I did that, I made her a little headband, which is called like the Rosie the Riveter headband, I think. But that's actually not the name of the pattern. It's something with Billy in the name, but I'll leave it in the description box below. Anyways, you just like tie it around your head, and then boom, it's cute. And then crochet stretches, so it's 25 inches. Enjoy the podcast. As any proud maker would, I'm gonna take a water break. As I encourage you to as well, because water is great. But yeah, when I was doing the stitching together yesterday, I don't think I've ever cut yarn more in my life other than like making pom-poms. I was honestly getting so sick of it. I was like, I don't cut yarn, I crochet with it. And I was like, this is my yarn pile. Oh my gosh. I can honestly probably just throw that away. But yeah, so like I said, those are the 3 main ones, and I've just been working on those all break, just wanting to finish those up. For the first couple of days of break, I was on vacation, and I struggled so hard trying to figure out what kind of yarn to bring. And I have footage, before I was on break, trying to figure out what to bring with me, and I don't know if this is gonna make it into a video or not, in all honesty. So I'm just gonna explain what I did now, but if I do use that footage, I apologize. Because at this point I was like, oh, yarn related, let's record it. But I was stuck. I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, I have no idea what to bring. I was like, in reality, I want to work on my blankets, but I'm not gonna bring a tote bag of yarn with me. I brought a tote bag. I'm not going to bring like a whole duffel bag of yarn with me while I'm working on this blanket that's already half the size of me, if not bigger, in a small car. It's just not going to work well. So I was like, okay, I have to think creatively. It's like, what have I been wanting to do that I just haven't done yet? And the whole part of it too is that I don't want to make projects. I want to finish them. And because I'm in that mindset, it's been hard. It was very difficult, but I was able to work through it. And with that, so I'm home alone, and I feel like I'm not. I got my dog with me. So what I ended up doing was, I was like, okay, I've been talking about this for a while. Turning like my books into my blanket type thing, and it's like, okay, I can finally start that. So it's like, okay, I can make the granny squares for those. And so I weighed all of that yarn out, did that, and it's like, I'm not gonna do the appliques or anything for the granny squares. I'll do that afterwards. I was like, okay, well so I timed myself too, and I was like, okay, well how much is this actually gonna take me to make? Because it was, 6 granny squares. In reality, that will take me an hour, 10 minutes for each one. So it's like, great, well, what else am I gonna do? Because it was a 7-hour car ride, and I was like, okay, so I dug into my stash, and I was like, okay, let's think about this. And then I found my bag that had future written on it, because whenever I go to the store, if I find like a cotton yarn or something that I just like fall in love with, it's usually mint or it's some sort of like tie-dye or rainbow or something. I'll typically grab it if it's on sale or something, and then I'll put it in this future bag for me to make and for my like future house whenever I move out. And I just haven't made anything out of that bag. And you can probably tell where this is going. I took the majority of that yarn out of that bag and I made stuff with it. So here's what I did. That's how 27 came. So I'm just going to work top to bottom. I'll go through it very quickly. I don't have the names of any of the yarn with me, but I can tell you where they're from. So this was one of the first things I made once I got in the car. This is Red Heart scrubby polyester material. I don't know the colorway, but I started off as a cotton pad, and then I had a little bit left, and I was like, well, I don't want to waste this either. And I was like, oh, I can make a handlebar. So this could be made, I assume, like one of these could even be used like in the shower as like one of the loofahs. I wouldn't use polyester, I would use a cotton one though. But I was like, this could work. So yeah, this is going to be a very common thing. So I made this one, and then I had leftover yarn, didn't want to cut that. Same thing happened, pad, and then a handlebar. This is also Red Heart polyester material, Red Heart scrubby. And then also, this is also Red Heart. there is a rectangle, and there is a circle. So whenever I was making something with this type of yarn, I would be using my 5.5mm hook. When I was doing my other stuff, I would do my 4mm. Except for this right here. This next chunk, I did it with my 4mm for some reason. Got a circle. This stuff is Hobby Lobby cotton yarn, but it's the scrubby material. It's just made out of cotton. Circle, square. I figured the different sizes would work well depending, because like sometimes you don't want like a big washcloth in your sink. Just something small works. Rectangle. Rectangle. And I don't know if you're able to tell or not, but this yarn was like pulling on me at some parts. I was like, oh, that's really cool. I think it was this one in particular. I was like, oh, look at that. Got another one. And you can see that stripe right there. And then a bigger one. And then these were all a car ride. At our Airbnb, I made a levy, which I'm sure we've all seen these everywhere if you're a part of the crochet community. These were big at Michael's a couple years ago, and I stocked up on them, and I'm dwindling down my stash. And then now it's the granny squares for that book to blanket type thing. This is my favorite one. This is the Michael Jackson square. And the original design for this one was, sorry, I can't grab it, was supposed to be half and half. I don't know how to do that with granny squares yet, if it's even possible. So I'm sure it is, just like do half, and then sew it together. But I wasn't feeling that at the time, so I just carried the yarn, which kind of reminds me of a mushroom, but this is one. And then for this square, I'm going to do like a hand, as in like the glove, and then I have like silver thread for his glove. That'd be really cool. And in case you can't tell, that has like metallic on it. The red does. I don't think you can tell, but yeah. Then I have a dark blue one, a black, this shade of blue, and then a light blue, which is the same one as that light blue, and a white. And in case you want more detail about like what exactly I'm going to be doing with these, I have a whole series that's going to be coming out as I work on it, all about this project. Okay. Almost done. I got a chunk left. So, as you can probably tell, I grabbed skein and I just kept working through it till I finished it up. And this, sorry, was a common theme like throughout the whole blanket. I mean, throughout the whole car ride. I'm just so used to saying blanket, my bad. These are all, you can find these at Michael's. I want to say it's Premier Cotton. I don't know for sure. But this is like a bluer color. I got one. And by the way, a common theme that I did with these was double crochet, single crochet, repeat, because I don't like doing a typical double crochet and then call it good, especially for dishcloths, just because I feel like after a while you get bored with it. It's just doing double crochet over and over. And when I did the double crochet, single crochet, repeat, it changed it up a little bit. And I like the look of it, because with double crochet, you can tell it's going to be gappy, but when the single crochet is there, it's not going to be gappy. So it just kind of changes it a little bit. So this one, then we got a smaller one. This is a new skin, by the way. I think this is the colorway Robin's Egg. Okay, now back to the other one because they got mixed up. This is 2 colorways because I had leftovers and I was just like working through it. I'm not even going to bother talking at this point. For this one, this was the last this was like when I was working through the last one, and I just didn't want to waste it, so I made a border, which you might be able to tell. Purple. And then one more. Oh my, I didn't mean to make a 25-minute video. Okay. So, in reality, I don't know if I'm gonna keep all of these, because this is a lot of dishcloths. But who knows, I might. But it's nice to have in mind for like housewarming gifts for like my cousins who I'm close to who also like this color, because in case you can't tell, I like mint. I got mint stuff everywhere. Like I got more mint over here, my lamp is mint, my pillowcase, so like I like the color. That's why I gravitated towards these. And the purple one, I might give a couple of these to purple ones to my mom because she likes purple also, but like shh, don't tell her. So yeah, I don't know exactly what. That'll be a future me's problem, but right now I have to sew in all of these ends. Uh, yeah. So in case you want to know how many ends that is, that's 27 times. Would that be 27 times 2? Yeah, I think it would. I'm not good at math. I never said I was, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed all of this. Who knows in regards to next podcast what exactly I'll have in mind, but I was only able to do all of this because I actually had the time. But I definitely have a lot going on this week though too, so we'll see how it goes. But if you were able to stick around for all of this, thank you for staying. I appreciate it, and I'm gonna have a lot of fun sewing in these ends. So thank you for watching. Bye.